Oh, yes. Oh, I like that. That was cool.
The SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Oh, SpongeBob, Chris Vandal, Legion Vapes. YouTube in your face hole. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Monday/Tuesday in your face holes. Eyeballs, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we were talking about some... Steve was talking about boobs. Vandal was talking about moobs. I was just along for the ride. Hi, everybody. Can you please give us a potato in the chat and make sure that everything's running okay? And, yeah. Hi, folks. How's it going? How's it going, Chris? How's it going, Steve?
War never changes.
It doesn't?
Nah, I'm good. It's not too hot out here. It's not too... Oh, yeah, it could be colder. I'm doing all right. And also, I just wanted to point out that I am wearing a pink shirt, and my webcam that I paid way more money for the other one sucks. So that's just my white guy complaining about stuff at the moment.
Is it pink?
It's pink.
Ew.
It's not slamming. Salamander? No, it's pink.
Yeah, I gave you the solution to that. You just don't want to do it. Spend
Yeah,
more
I'm not
money,
going to go
buy
buy
a better
another...
camera.
Oh, man, I break the capitalist machine, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Be a good capitalist. Things don't work, throw them out and buy a new one.
I call it crapitalist. Okay.
Crapitalist.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
As for me, the weather is it's that weird part of the year where it's like 5 minutes of like, oh, I need to take my jacket off. Oh, fuck, I'm really cold. Let's put it back on. I'm just putting it on and off all day long. The temperature's just hovering back and forth at that nasty, uncomfortable point, which is better than sweating to death. So I shouldn't complain, because a month, 2 months from now, it'll just be like me sitting here in a string bikini going,
Yeah, what are you going to do about your flannels? There'll be no more flannels on Legion Vapes channel.
I will just fly them with the flag in the background. We'll just line them up. That's what we'll do. I don't know. I'll just be naked. I'll be naked except for my flannel tied around my waist. How's that?
Tool time, huh? I don't think I can remember when Steve wore like regular T-shirts. It's been so long.
Been a while.
This has been the world's longest winter.
Yeah. Are you even buttoning all the way, Steve?
I'm doing the full Grim Green.
Whoa.
With a T-shirt underneath. And you saw, I just took off my jacket. I had it on top. I had a scarf on this morning. It's all over the place. But in other news, if you are in Australia, you might already know this. The rest of the world probably haven't heard a clue because nobody cares about where I am. But we have just gone into lockdown as of 6 p.m. last night, 7-day lockdown in my region. Apparently a guy came up from Sydney, was traveling around, him and 2 young boys, they believe related. He was, if I say the word sovereignist, that might give you an idea of how compliant he was. He was took into police custody and taken to the hospital, and rumor is that he's in a coma. I can't verify that, but he's been up here for 8 or 9 days, traveling all over the place, looking at houses, hanging out with friends.
Spreading the germs.
Yeah, spreading the germs. So this area, we've been so lucky up to this point.
Yeah.
And we got 5 yesterday. He was the first, and there are 5 verified after him. We will be having more and more. I predict that we're going to hit a couple hundred within a couple of days.
Yeah.
Just based on his callousness. So yeah, we're in lockdown, which means that for me, nothing changes. I stay at home. I answer the door for the mail. We do click and collect for groceries, and I hide away from people. It's pretty much my normal routine. But the rest of the region's going a little bit stir crazy already. 12 hours and people are like starting to complain.
See, I didn't even know that. So your area, so in New South Wales, just like Lismore went into lockdown. Is that
Northern Rivers?
Northern Rivers. Right.
There actually, I can't remember the whole list of them. There's 5 boroughs. It goes right up to the Queensland border. They thought that he might have gone over the border, but they've kind of verified that he hasn't. But he's non-compliant. He didn't do any of the check-ins. He's got no listing. Word has it that he's a bit of a dodgy person, and yeah, he's not sharing information about who he's seen or where he's been. So getting that contact list is proving to be difficult,
Interesting.
which is just going to make things even worse.
Yep. For those in the other parts of the world, New South Wales, the state that Steve lives in, is going into absolute Armageddon with Delta and a whole bunch of Rona. And it's spreading all over the place. And awesome political conversation about what's going on there with our politics as well. But let's not go there. Let's go back to the chat. And there's a few people in here pretty early. Hi. We got Shannon Brown. Chris Vandal was here early as well. Dennis Michael was here early. He's always early. The Birdman is here. How come you're not working, bro? You should be watching that, not watching the work, not watching our ugly heads on the screen. Erwin's here. Otto's here. Hi, morning to you, Mr. Otto. Ern's here. What's up, yo? The great Bombatsky, of course, always here. Hi, Rob. Shannon Brown, Mowgli, PSS, Miss Pam, I think that's it. Jake Scrapwood is here. Hi, Jake Scrapwood. Mr. Gerard Butler is here. Got something for you, Mr. Gerard Butler. And the Irishman's here. Hi to the Irishman.
Irishman, nice to see you.
I thought my mouse pointer is right on that. I thought it said, sorry, I'm on the plane, so I'm going to be quiet. I was like, absolutely. This is your captain speaking. We're just coming over northern New South Wales. If you could look down to the left. We very much appreciate it.
Waving up at you.
Yeah. Send beer. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Send me beer.
Can I just point out, in that roll call, I'm noticing a distinct shift. About a year ago, and prior to that, when we did this show, a good 99.9% American, 1 or 2 UK, and maybe 1 Australian. But the Australian contingent in this show, in the viewership, has just grown and grown and grown. That's good to see. Good to see you guys representing.
Yeah.
I was talking about it on Friday too. Like, our viewership of where you guys are at is massive now on that side of the world.
Well, it's good.
Yeah, that's good.
We really appreciate you guys double-side taping your computers to watch us, right side up. Like, it's really nice.
I'm just going to...
And there go all the viewers.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. Apparently we do VAP on occasion, and it's probably that time for a little bit of VAPs in your face hole. The buffet. Legion, do you want to go first today? How about that?
Yeah, I'll go first. I have 1, 2, 3 things there that I cannot show you that I've been vaping mainly over this past week. So we pushed them all to the side for today, just for this hour. I'm not using those, but you will see them very soon. A couple of them you will be highly interested in. The actual other stuff that I can show you, nice and simple. Lost Vape, Hyperion, and the Fat Rabbit. It's a solid setup. You guys have seen it a bunch over the last couple of weeks. Still rocking the last of this Turkish maze. Yeah, a little bit left. That is just a killer setup. Its baby brother is this one that I'm not supposed to show you. It should be in that list, but it's a new Geek Vape device. Not a single battery. It's a built-in.
Did you just say you're not supposed to show us that?
I'm not supposed to show you that. So you didn't see that, so that didn't happen.
Just checking.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of what the hell did I put in there? Banana, purple banana. We've talked about that plenty of times. And last but not least, the all new Caliburn A2 review just came out this morning. Still rocking a little bit of that blood orange in there. And it's a nice setup. It's simple, straightforward. It's got the right draw for me. Anyone who's looking for that truly mouth to lung, go buy the older one. But if you found that the older one was too tight, move up to this one, because it's on that nice, just that perfect spot. And that's it. That's all I got today.
Nice.
Why don't I throw it over to Mr. Vandal to show us all 2 things he's vaping?
How'd you know? I actually do have something new.
Because he went and got one. I saw that.
I was like, oh yeah, I got stuff. So anyways, daily, all day of day. Antarctica's orange, Salt Nicks 25, and a Caliber. And this weekend I got to try. I think I'm the first one in the world too. So suck it, you fucking nerds. The Turkish limonada.
Oh.
Lemonade tastes like a little bit of mint added to it, maybe. It is iced, so it's got the ice flavor behind it.
See,
it's not bad.
You raise me up, and then you just dash me down on the rocks.
What? How?
Turkish lemonade
or
with mint and cooling. Oh.
You don't have, like, it comes without mint. I'll be dead honest with you though. When I was walking out of the lab, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take one." I didn't mean to grab mint. I absolutely did not, and I grabbed 2 of them.
You got 2.
Or it's not mint. Excuse me, iced. Yeah, I grabbed 2 of them. So yeah, it's a lemonade. It's iced. I wish I would have paid attention because I don't like iced like flavors. I don't like like cool icy flavors. But it's definitely lemonade, and it's not too bad. Pink lemonade from Antarctica is still my favorite though, and that's all I got. Oh, that's in a Cali Burn too.
Cabernet. The Cabernet. Cool. Thank you, Chris. I will do mine. Who was having a go at me just now about Squanks? Someone was talking about Squanks. I saw it. Dennis Michael. How dare you? Actually, I can show you that one is also an Avalanche V2 from Snowcap Mods, and you're going to love it. That one has the Monarchy 4 on top of there, little single coil, outstanding little banger action. That has in there the Canteen. I'm still on this Canteen from the United Kingdom. This one is the caramelized pineapple, medjool date, and tonka bean. It's very, very tasty. I don't think it's an all-day vape, but it's very delicious and quite decadent, if that's the correct word.
Ooh, decadent.
Ooh, decadence. I also have another Snowcap mod. That is the Step 20X side-by-side 100 action with the Typhon GT4S on there. Outstanding. That one's got my own liquid in there. Franken Tones on the Shakedown. Yeah, just getting rowdy for no particular reason. Also on the Billabong, the NFG edition Panda on the inside there from Wicked with actually some of Casey Green and Mr. Nick Green, the Backer cornflake sugar cookie, which is becoming really, really very much like this e-liquid. I realize it's probably not for everybody, but there are aspects of that liquid that I absolutely adore. And focus. And this one, not the real dry butler, a generous man that he is, and is very, very good looking, by the way. The Hexome V3, I think they call it an O-frame, is that right? O-frame, yep, still got that going on from Sunday night, which I got delivered on a Sunday. What the fuck, DHL? But that's got the Jug V2 on there, and I've got the other Canteen one, the Kingston it says, Kingston, which is the sourdough French butter and Seville marmalade.
If we can just take a moment to shill a little bit for Hexome, who don't get as much love as they deserve these days. Could I get you to open up the door and just show people the inside?
Yes.
Because it is such a clean device, especially with the V3s. It is so nicely made.
I broke it. The magnets are like proper strong. You really got to get some Vegemite in there.
I mean, just look how clean that is.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't ever seen one or used one, that little button down there by the battery, that's your hidden on-off switch.
Yeah.
If you got to throw it in your bag or carry it around or travel with it, just hit that and then put the door back on. It's not going to fire. It's totally safe.
Also, Adam, that's not an O-frame.
Yeah, I got it wrong. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Do you even vape, bro? God, you don't even have a Subaru, I bet. Ugh.
Yeah. But it does have, I did notice that this morning. You can or you might be able to see it in focus, but it says 3.0 on the bottom there, and I'm assuming that's the serial number, 826.
That's the version number. Oh, the serial number, yeah.
Yeah. I was talking like I knew what I was talking about, but I don't know what an O-frame is, so yeah. But I love this sound. Yeah, that freaked me out. I forgot all about that with the what do you call it? One of those ones. And yeah,
The flux capacitor.
the flux capacitor. Read the inside of the door. All right, fuck.
He's like, Adam, you smell like buttholes. Love you. No.
Yeah. It says here, there's a little fortune cookie action going on there. It says, an ounce of gold cannot buy an ounce of time. There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's very, very cool.
That is, you're a lucky man, and that is a absolutely wonderful gift.
I am a very, very lucky man. Very, very generous people in the community. And very, very appreciative, Mr. Lee. It's banging. It's been on my desk ever since Sunday, and this is the one I always just put down and pick up, and take a rip from it. It's really, really good. But I had to do a little bit of reading up on the PWM situation and resistances and all that sort of thing, and yeah, I like it. It's fucking banging. And the Switch, as I'm sure Lee will attest to, that people hate on the Switch. It's really nice. It's just a light touch, and it's really, really good. And if you can hear that noise,
Do you got the train from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood or something in the background?
they have literally just started construction, 20 minutes ago. I think there are like 15 homes around me that are doing construction. So thanks a lot.
It's that neighbor of yours. He's doing okay. They're about to start.
Yep.
Now let's start building.
Yep.
You can
He's
take
like,
a break
they're
in an
talking
hour when
about
he's done. Come back on Sunday.
This is a shout out.
Yep. I'm just waiting for the lawnmower to start as well. So thanks a lot, motherfuckers. And yeah, suburbia, South Australia, suburbia. Yeah.
It's like noon there, right? Like 11-ish?
It is almost 20 past 11 in the AM.
Yeah, and, like, he needs to, like, wake up earlier to do that. Doesn't he, like, Like, doesn't the average person wake up early to do that? Like, who wakes up at, like, noon and says, I'm going to do yard work? Usually it's like, if you wake up that late, you're like, oh, world, I'm going to have a beer. Like,
Yep. But this has become the area to move to in Dubai. I guess when they talk about, like it's a buyer's market or all that kind of stuff. There's no shortage of money in South Australia at the moment. People buying homes, and I'm sure that all of the houses on this street are not actually owned by people who live in them. They live in other states that are snapping them up. So
it's like that here too, man. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah.
We have a whole neighborhoods that are empty because people from out of state are buying them and then waiting to sell them again.
That's not even renting them out. That's a crime.
No.
What do you mean new batteries, Gerard? What are you talking about? What don't I know about this device? Is it buzzing because my batteries are low? Is that what's going on? God, I feel like such a newbie. I don't know anything about this device. I'm going to do that. I'm going to check my battery voltage. Oh, it's on. They're on 4 volts.
Live action vape show off screen.
Live action vape show right now. This is done in front of a live studio audience.
That's gonna be my new ringtone. Just you seeing live action vape show all close to the screen.
Want to see some live action?
Breeze Toad's ASMR.
Yep, that's it. So new batteries. There you go.
Scary thought. It's like it's very rude, very intense, very erotic, and incredibly polite.
Aluminium.
Cilantro. Yep.
Oh, spicy.
That's my safety word. Cilantro. Yep. So that's it, fellas. Who's got news? What's going on? I was saying on Sunday night. I think Squonkers was actually the one that to point the finger at me. I stepped right away from seeing what's going on in world current affairs, particularly in the vape world. It's been a good solid week now. I think a little bit. I had a bunch of stuff going on that I needed to tie up loose ends, and I have zero idea of what's going on the advocacy battle front, the war. I think
I have a handful of pieces of news.
Yeah.
One, Colin Mendelsohn just posted on his own personal site a couple of days ago a list of what to expect and what to do with the upcoming changes in laws regarding Australia. Definitely, it's linked all over the place, but it's linked on my Facebook page. It's definitely worth going to check out because if you are in Australia, change is coming. You need to be on top of things. You need to know what to do to cover your ass. So he very clearly outlined just about everything that's there. On top of that, I know Pippa scooped me. Damn that Pippa. She scooped me. I was going to do this in about a month. I was planning on getting in touch with Colin and having him on Sunday. We'll probably still do it. But basically, hey, we're coming down to the wire. Let's, once again, let's have a chat about what's going to change, what's different. Pippa's doing that. I think she's already filmed it, and it should be up. Can't remember it, like the next day or so.
Yeah.
A nice long conversation with him about those changes, as well as all the questions that she's collected from the public. So that's sort of on a positive spin. Change is coming, but we're getting that information out there, things that need to be known. On the negative spin, this is the big one this week, is that the FDA has closed out 4.5 million PMTAs. And by closed out, I mean rejected. Just like, nope. What was it, up 6.5 million? Yeah. The company, JD Nova Group, which is the parent group of Vapolocity, submitted 4.5 million out of a total 6.5 million PMTAs that the FDA received. So most of the PMTAs that we're in were through this company.
Wow.
And 4.5 million of them have been wiped off, just rejected. And the reason given, let's see where it said.
When was this?
This was last week, right?
Just a couple of days ago. Yeah. The letter that they received in response cites the lack of environmental assessments submitted for most of the products. So the paperwork technically wasn't filled out correctly, so they're able to just wipe it off. Now, fair enough. If you don't fill out a form properly, it gets bounced back. That's standard bureaucratic procedure. But given the time frame that this is a month from the due date, and this is happening now, it's almost like someone looked for any excuse to clear some of this paperwork off their table and just pushed back 4.5 million of them.
I can get into that a little bit deeper if you don't
Please
mind real
do.
quick. A lot of time, so not a lot of time, excuse me. So what's happened right now in the U.S. vape scene, there's a lot of these companies that have big money behind them. And the reason why this company, I'm assuming, because I don't know this company personally or anything like that, and again, like, this is not legal advice or anything, this is my experience from what I see working in the industry. These companies like this, they're big money companies. They probably have, like, you know, big names under their things, such as, like, just for reference, I'm not saying it's them, but like, say it's like a Jam Monster or something. Whether or not you see anyone vape it, they're huge. So what happens is these companies, what they'll do is they'll have all these smaller companies come to them, and then they'll be like, all right, you all pull together your funding, and then we will submit your PMTAs under our name, under our company, and then do it like that. So like this company effectively kind of sort of like bought out, but not really bought out all these other companies, and then they submitted it with their portfolios. So that portfolio includes all that stuff. And like Steve was saying, they said like environmental and stuff like that. The reason why that can happen, at least from what I've seen, is that these companies that are the smaller companies that pulled in with this big company to get PMTA certified because they have the money, they have the pool, you know, they have the power and stuff like that, they might not be making juice the best way possible because these companies will get inspected by the FDA. The FDA will come out and do a site search, you know, they'll come out and make sure that you're up to spec. You got to have a clean room to make products, like a legit clean room. It has to be closed in with glass, not glass necessarily, but, you know, a clean room. And you have to be up to spec with that. You have to have the right, you know, back when people used to show pictures of like their vape labs and stuff like that, they're wearing full clean suits or, you know, whatever medical looking gear and stuff like that. So granted, like, I can't say this is the exact situation, but what it sounds like is that this big company umbrella to all these smaller companies, the smaller companies didn't do their due diligence, and then they got pushed to the side. Because, like, regardless or not that you're doing it under the umbrella of this big company, it's up to the entities to do the paperwork right, to ensure they're creating their products right to standard, and to do that. A lot of companies did that. A lot of companies pulled together under, like, a big thing. And there's some big tobacco money involved in this. If you think that their vape companies had enough to pull off $1 million per subscription, you know, whatever, blah, 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 all alone with all this stuff. So what happened is like, I'm assuming here, is that this company was funded by big money like that. They took all these brands in, and then they didn't stake up to their end on it on the FDA regulation side, whether it's the paperwork, whether it's keeping it clean, whether it's keeping up to spec, and they got rejected. Because I've seen some of the companies that have been PMTA approved, and I got to tell you, obviously, you know, I'm not going to say names or nothing. These are shit fucking juices. These are shit products, and they're getting PMTA approved, which means that no matter how, it doesn't matter if your juice is good or not, but as long as you follow the code to the T, you will probably get your PMTA approved to be inspected later on, instead of just getting shut right out.
I've just been looking at that while you were talking about it, and Paul Blair has got a fairly long Twitter thread about this, and, you know, a bit of speculation about that whole situation, and you know, I won't, the too long didn't read is that, you know, he's saying assume anyone who puts 4.5 million products up for a PMTA of that company's size did in fact submit a cookie cutter application that lacked some details desired by the agency. And he goes on to say, I don't think it would be fair for me to assess the quality of their submission, as I've never spent a moment looking at it. But if you lack an environmental assessment, the rejection is valid in terms of what the FDA has said. Of what the FDA has said is required for a complete PMTA, though. So that's like.
I mean, what do you think about when you go to the I guess in the States it would be the post office, but wherever you go, where you hand in, say, your passport application. First thing that's going to happen is they got a checklist, like, oh, you got a photo, is the photo signed? Is there is the witness signed? Is everything filled out? Is this all filled out? Do you have an X in that box? Because if you do, we have to reject you or whatever. And just go through it and make sure that everything is there. If they're not actually even looking at content or spelling, the first is to make sure all the papers are there and filled out. That's just a bureaucratical process, and then they'll go through and submit it and have the actual contents looked at, and then maybe look into who you are and all that. So the same thing would go here. I mean, one of the first things you do with a PMTA application is make sure that all the proper forms are there, they're all properly filled out, all the assessments or supporting documents are attached, all that stuff, before they even look at the content. Doesn't matter if your environmental assessment says that your company is shit, it just matters that you actually have one. So, I mean, it is a valid thing for them to sit and go, look at this big pile, just go through it and toss anything that's not properly filled out, especially when the deadline is coming.
It's also the way FDA Tobacco has announced this, you know, because this tweet was it was said this morning, Australian time, 4:38 Australian time, so that would have been like, what, mid-afternoon for you guys. In the US of A. The way they've like put this on their Twitter thread is that sorry, where's the part? What they're trying to say, this is a significant step in taking action on the unprecedented number of applications received by the September 9 deadline. Like, don't fucking gloat, you know, like that to me is gloating on you know, saying, "Whoa, you know, we're amazing. We wiped all of this." You know, it's.
But what they did is they took out the companies that didn't take the time to do the due diligence, and I don't know if I would trust a company that couldn't do the paperwork to provide something I'm going to put in my body. True indeed. You know, it's just.
Think of it like this. I mean, your boss comes to you and says, "Did you take care of all that work I gave you?" And he looks at your desk, and your desk is clean and clear. Like, yeah, absolutely, took care of it. Doesn't look at your coworker's desk where you just literally moved that pile over. That's pretty much what they've done. We took care of it.
Yeah. And a lot of those juices too, like Steve was saying, a lot of those products that weren't submitted, or like you were saying on the tweet or whatever, there's a lot of companies out there that will submit recipes just so that they'll have something new in the future that they haven't produced. Because by the PMTA rules, you're supposed to be producing this juice already before the PMTA. You can't submit like new recipes. These are products that you're supposed to have in production.
Yep.
So if these are products, like you'll see like companies that are released a new juice because they've made it before and it wasn't released to the retail market, and it's been in other countries maybe or other places it's been around. But a lot of those could also just be like, oh, I'm just fucking, you know, pissing in the wind. Hopefully they accept all these recipes. You know what I mean?
I guess
and a lot of those could be that too.
Is this also, like I've never heard of this group before, but is this a, you know, like a, what do you call it, a representing group that could effectively, I have an e-liquid company in the US that, you know, complies as far as, you know, having a recipe before the deadline date, and I've paid this company to help me with a PMTA application, you know, a certain amount of money, Like what happens to that? I guess there was no guarantee, obviously, that
There's
you would
no
sign on
guarantee
for that.
on it.
But
Yeah, there's no guarantee. It's a gamble. And if it was I'm just saying from my perspective, if I was this business person, I would when I'm doing this, I would tell the company straight up, like, sure, I'll pull you under the umbrella, blah, 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 for whatever the fee would be or whatever group thing, and like get you in there if I have the power to do it. But it's up to you to do your due diligence to make sure that you're doing the paperwork. Like, it's like a lot of the paperwork, like, could be just like a cookie cutter paperwork because the company was like, oh yeah, blah blah, we'll join your group of people submitting PMTAs, blah blah blah. That should be enough. I don't have to. It's like you don't add the fabric softener to your washing load. You know what I mean? You didn't fabric soften your paperwork. That's a terrible analogy. I'm sorry, but like they didn't do their end of it, and it's like, well, it's not the fault of the big company that's providing you with the access to be able to be PMTA certified. That's your fault. That's
Can we
your
just
fault.
add some more info to this? The JD Nova Group, who own Vape Velocity, who are the ones who did all the PMTAs, they are in El Paso, Texas. They have one location. They're in the tobacco and stands industry. Private ownership, so it's not on the stock market. Their estimated income is under $500,000 per year, and they have 1 to 5 employees. That's a very small company.
That is an American business, is what you would call a shell company. And
They own Vape Velocity, Deja Juice, Ideal Elixirs, Stronghold Vapory, Wicked Coils, Wicked Cotton.
I can't say for a fact that I've heard of any of those names except maybe the cotton. And the problem is too, is like, they were a company that probably had a bunch of money saved up or something like that, or if they're a part of a group of companies and they could be a shell, that would be the one thing that would make sense. But to me, from the way that you just described it, sounds like the people that submitted, if they did submit through those people, got bamboozled.
They are a very small company. Their owner, CEO, and agent are all the same person. Their president and other owner are the same person, so there's 2 people there.
So it sounds like somebody saw this in the industry and was like, okay, let's see if of course, I'm assuming here, so don't take this as fact,
But also, how did they get 4.5 million, clients effectively to represent, for something that's going to that?
The thing is you got to consider that with the flavors, you have to submit a recipe, not just you can't just be like, say, I got this in front of me, Anarchist Orange. You have to submit it for every milligram it comes in. And you have to, so that would be like if you have a, say, 0369 line or whatever, that's effectively 4 juices right there. And that's 4 recipes. You add ice to any of those, that's 8 recipes. You put it in, you add a more nicotine, that's another recipe. So those add up. But the thing is, like I was saying before, either this was a shell company that said that they would promise these other companies that they would do it, or they threw every piece of fucking spaghetti at the wall hoping it would stick.
Just checking out the President Jack, and his LinkedIn has popped up here, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's filled with the usual sort of, I'm an entrepreneur, I have these skills, I'm really good, etc.
So it's a bamboozle, it sounds like to me. Or they were big tobacco money.
No, it's not big tobacco. President of the JD Nova, which has 4 subsidiaries, one of which, Vape Velocity, is really taking off. I don't know how long ago this was written. They formed in 2014, so been around for a little while. We opened our second vape shop on August 15th, and it's seen nothing but steady. So it is a tiny company. They have opened a shop. They set themselves up as a corporation type thing, but it's just they had one shop, then they opened another shop. They opened some in-house juice brands, but rather than just being labeled with the shop, they've created brand names to make themselves look bigger. It's a classic case of small business puffing themselves up. Which happens all the time. So that really does throw a lot of interest into this story. 4.5 million badly filled out pieces of paper that have been rejected. It's less of the attack on us and more of this company pretty much wasting the FDA's time.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Well, that's heavy. I mean, you're absolutely right about the the speculation of, a vast majority of those products being, not commercially, what am I trying to say? Like the manufacturing process of those things, and also, but isn't the environmental thing, that's the testing and that whole situation, and, couldn't you piggyback off testing done by somebody else if your products contain the same, attributes as those.
That's what
those
the
things.
polling is for. If you have close to the same enough recipe or things like that, like you can like submit the group packets and stuff like that. And like this is no joke, because like, what was it, 2019? I remember I went to like the general manager of the company I work for's office, and she was doing the paperwork for it. And this stuff is tedious. Like you have to know stuff down to exact percentages. You have to do the environmental hazards and surveys for each. Like you can't just say this is for the manufacturing side. Like this is just the one place. You have to include that in every recipe. Like it's not easy work, and it sounds like either like these guys were just like, I'm gonna get all these brands or these juices PMTA'd, and then I'm gonna fucking sell not sell the company, but sell those PMTA approved juices with your labels on them, or like, you know what I mean? Like they tried to go in and like IP, like not IP theft, but try to go in and own everything so that if they all work, I can push it out to these other companies to sell and make money off of. It sounds like some guy like. Legion said in the thing, I'm an entrepreneur. This sounds very Jed Talk. And when I say Jed Talk is the hillbilly cousin of TED Talk. You know what I mean? Like, I have $1 million plan. Like, I'm going to go and get all these juices. Then I'm going to sell them to people.
And 4.5 million sounds like a lot, but keep in mind, if you got 0, 3, 6, 9, 25, and 50, that's 6 for one flavor.
Yeah.
And then we have a cooling version of the same thing. Well, that's another 6. 4.5 million. It's a big number. It sounds like a lot, but really, I mean, it's probably about three-quarters of a million products.
Yeah, I was just about to say less than a million actual real products. Yeah.
It seems like they were doing the thing where like you go and you make a Twitter account for someone that just got famous, or that someone's going to be famous soon with their exact name, and then when they get famous, they have to buy it from you.
Yeah. It was actually making me think when you said labels before. Let's just say that products go through the PMTA situation. Will that be something that's advertised on the label as a PMTA approved?
I haven't seen that before, and what I will say though is most companies will shoot like an email blast out to like whoever subscribed to their communications and stuff like that. But yeah, it's PMTA approved and stuff like that. But I will say that for the most part, a lot of the distributors that I've seen on my end are doing their due diligence and not picking up non-PMTA juice. They're like, because like, don't get me wrong, like like that company was supposed to do do their PMTAs, but you can, like, how far is the absence of your lack of following the law because you knew that it wasn't, you know what I mean? How liable would you be? And in a corporate setting in America, that legality is the worst part to get involved in. So a lot of the companies aren't even attempting to sell that stuff. I will say that I've seen distributors that sell the products or manufacture the products. They have been blasting out like PMTA approved this product, this that, blah blah blah. But I will say that as a back pocket knowledge, if you can buy it online from a distributor, because there's some that can sell across the states right now, online retail orders even, they probably are PMTA certified, and they probably are the ones that are going to be along the lines of abiding by the law.
Yeah. It's
Ricky Mahoney there is asking, I thought roughly 7 million were submitted. That's more than half of all of them. I'm hoping you got your numbers wrong. You didn't. There was about a little over 6.5 million submitted. So 4.5 million of those have been brushed off. But given our little pseudo investigation here, I'm not that worried about those. Those look like to be a waste of time overall.
Or just not addressing the things that, or not addressing everything, because like the FDA is gloating about that. They're looking for the mistake to just go, yep, that was an absolute waste of somebody's time. Yep.
It's like Steve said, in America, that doesn't matter what you're up against or what you're doing or where you're going. As long as your paperwork's right and anything like this, you'll get your foot in the door regardless of what's behind it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that you got your foot through the door, but if you do your due diligence and do everything right like that, like you're gonna get a shot to like prove whether or not your product should be approved or is a viable product or whatever. But it doesn't mean you're gonna make it past that point unless you do exactly how they want it when they want it. And I can't say like I'm gonna give advice to people that are going out there and do it because it's too late basically now for you to go do it. You know, this the work, and if you haven't started now, I got to tell you, I'll be honest with you, it sounds like a dead end mission if you ask me. If you start today, but you know what I mean? And it just shows also like the companies that do it are probably the ones that you want to support because they're actually taking the time to make sure that they're doing it right.
I think the passport analogy was actually a really good one because in the amount of passports that I've had, when you go to somewhere like in Australia, you can go to Australia Post, our postal service, and have them help you, you know, like with your passport application. And I've had 3 passport applications denied that were done by staff at Australia Post purely because the departments were, you know, or the passport office would not accept, you know, discrepancies in the application, and it was something so minor as, you know, half a millimeter off the photo, you know, those kind of things. I mean, again, not saying that the information was wrong, it was just didn't meet the specification of what they needed for their internal paperwork to approve the situation. So yeah, I mean, even, you know, when people are helping you, it can still be wrong, you know, like it's shit, you know. So
and you got to remember, like, especially with like the people at the passport place, I'll be honest with you, like, yeah, they help you and they process that stuff, but it's like, do they really care if you get approved or not? You know what I mean? So it's up to you to make sure that you're doing it right too. Don't turn down help and don't look for help, but make sure you're referencing what you need to reference with whatever it is and you do it right. Because the government's like that relationship you're in. Guy or girl, it doesn't matter. You got to put in 10 million pounds of effort to get 1 inch back. You know what I mean? And that's what the government is.
Yep. Or they move the goalposts in the middle of when you're doing that, you know, just to keep you on your toes. Yeah.
And they just tell you their mom didn't like you from the beginning, and then all that stuff. No.
Yeah. And you were like, I knew all the time. You asked me for this answer, you know. Yeah.
But yeah, so if you guys haven't started your PMTAs, man, if you're anyone, I doubt anyone here is watching that does any of that. I gotta tell you, it's not gonna happen for you probably. Like I'll send you $5 for a Subway sandwich to go eat, but when you soak up your tears with. But if you're gonna do it, make sure you're doing it right.
I predict, and I apologize in advance because this is not a good future I'm predicting, but I predict a healthy black market going over the border. In the future, all modern new products will be child-proof and available in Canada only. You guys in the States, you'll be stuck with stuff that's 5 years old because that's all that got PMTA approved. But all decent flavors will be available in the States only because Canada sucks and they're banning all flavors. And so there'll just be this swap going back and forward. Like people on Facebook will be like, "Look, I'll buy you that new Hexome. They've moved to Ontario, and you just send me some of that Anarchist pink because it's so good." Just swapping back and forward on Facebook.
Yeah. And some other points being brought up by just some more tweet threads there. Mr. Matt SMM saying, a small fraction of vapors know about the PMTA process, and even a smaller fraction of non-vapors know about it. That's in reply to Alex Norcia. But also Danielle Jones saying, there are a larger number of people who use vapor products but don't advertise it and are not involved in the vape community, so still have no idea what's going on. It's messy.
We talk often about preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned more times than not how the bulk of vapors don't pay attention. They're not on Facebook, YouTube, or anything. They just buy their stuff and vape. But we're kind of in a bad situation as well, because as important as this is to us, and I'm not dismissing it at all, you've got COVID going on, you've got people concerned about masks, you got everyone worrying about politics one way or the other, you've got climate change. Germany flooded for the first time in 100 years, and everyone, it was like a month ago, everyone's forgotten about it. Yeah. Nobody remembers that the country I'm sitting in right now was half on fire last year. It will be half on fire again this year.
New York City in the United States right now. Like, are you shitting me? Like,
yeah.
I mean, there is so much other shit that the general public view as being way more important.
Yeah.
So when this stuff comes up, they dismiss it.
I just want to address Addy Tooney there. Do we think that these were the mass Amanda Wheeler PMTAs that were submitted, unless that she was effectively representing like what we were saying, the shell group that was involved in this? I doubt that very much, because she herself personally was working on them, from what I remember of a couple of live streams that were with Dimmy, and she appeared on another one as well. I don't think so, not from what we've just gleaned in the small detective work, unless she was representing, further down the chain of that situation. But I think that, possibly the ones that, again, this is complete speculation by someone who doesn't know his asshole from his elbow. The ones that Dimmy have been talking about, Dimitri, the ones that Amanda Wheeler was talking about, it sounds like to me that those were the smaller companies actually doing, the real deal application situation, probably very similar in piggybacking off the environmental information and making sure that the legalese was all right. But I don't believe that she would have been involved in those. Can I also then just go back to, we did talk about recently in the Australia situation what was going to happen with the nicotine, October nicotine situation, and I think we were talking about prescriptions meeting the need of what was available via retail versions, because when you buy nicotine from OS, the company that you're buying from, makes up the volume that you buy, so the vast majority, well, I would hazard a guess that all of the people who bought nicotine, coming into this country, whether they had a prescription or not, were just buying what was available, and they would be buying what their budget allows. There was a large company that I will not say the name of, but finally an email has come out, from one of our major companies that people, that buy from, and they've addressed that situation, because I said that the industry, I speculated, excuse me, and I'm talking a lot here, I speculated that the retail sites and the industry have their finger on the pulse, and they will address this at some point. And they finally have, saying, this is what's going to be required as far as prescriptions are, and that you can only buy what your prescription says, which will mean that their bottling / volumes will change, to meet that need. They're very savvy, so I'm kind of very happy to see that.
I can verify that the retailers within Australia, so they're not selling nicotine at all, not now and not in the future. Mm-hmm. They're not in on the conversation. They haven't been asked to the table, and they're not literally allowed. But then again, they don't necessarily need to. It would be good if they were part of that discussion. I think they'd bring a lot to it. But as far as the TGA is concerned, you don't sell nicotine anyway, so you don't need to be part of this. The company that you refused to mention, yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think that they've known a lot more. They've been part of the discussion for a long time. And a lot of what's been set up, they've been working with. They very, very clearly, this thing that we haven't been sure of, whether technically, like, okay, so you need to have a prescription and you order from overseas and it comes through, and if you don't have a prescription, it gets destroyed. How do we tie the shipment to the prescription? We've theorized, it's been mentioned a few times, that you'll need to send it to the retailer and they will ship it back with that in the box, at least a copy of that. The company you mentioned, they've verified this, that it will be set up in time for October, that you'll send a copy of your prescription to them and they will send it back. They've also verified that they will ship without the prescription. They've been quite blunt about that. It's like, if you don't send the prescription, we'll still ship it to you, but that's on you and that's your problem. And if you get caught, you're up for fines, etc. Not our problem.
The other big thing there, Steve, is that they also have mentioned that we've been speculating about a nick cap and that whole situation, and it says here, obviously. The shipping company that I also won't name won't ship nicotine, but they have a safe nicotine shipping option, which is what they've been doing
like
anyway.
That for a while now, though.
No, I'm saying that. But the situation says that they were still up to 100 milligrams, which is the nicotine strength that very many vapors here in Australia buy, is the 100 milligram stuff, obviously, which is means less volume for your e-liquids, which is always a much easier thing to use. So
no more 200 or 250s.
Exactly. Yep. So that's
which is
good
fair
news.
enough. I've got no issue with that.
No, 100%.
Yeah, it's not going to be. Here's the weird thing. Word is that pharmacies currently can provide nicotine. That's already in place. They can currently already do that. None of them are. The pharmacy guilds have said that they don't want to support this anyway. I'm feeling they'll get forced into it, and they might change their opinion after October. But neither the compounding pharmacies nor the regular pharmacies are currently providing it, but they currently can. It's already set up in place. The structure is already there. But, of course, they're not providing it. No one's taking advantage of it. I have a feeling that...
Sorry.
I have a feeling that come October, we won't see a huge amount of change. Yes, you're going to need your prescription. Yes, your purchasing habits will change a little bit. You'll have to provide your paperwork, but people will still be able to and continue ordering from overseas, shipping it to their door. This whole going to a pharmacy thing is not really going to be immediately there. Not 50%, not an equal thing. The TGA presented it as this is the main way, but you can still order from overseas. They dismissed that. The pharmacies would be the main way. And I don't think that in practice that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just combine all those little features and functions.
Yeah.
I did want to go back to something that Pam said just a little while back. Is it Pam? It was Pam. We were talking about CRC and the whole situation in Canada. CRC excludes all rebuildables. We can buy all the mods we want, but no RDAs or RTAs. I have a question. Does the law as written specify no rebuildables, or does it specify must be CRC compliant? Because I could see very, very easily if you can make a sub-ohm tank childproof, you can do that to an RTA and still have rebuildables. It's just that there's not many on the market right now, but those could be done. And as I'm thinking about it, because I was sitting there, how do you make an RDA childproof?
A lock cap?
Exactly, that's what occurred to me. It's like a childproof cap. Bloop. Lock.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be a good idea? Not just for the childproof, but now nothing pours out.
I think there's probably a lot of people trying to find the grey area, the loopholes. Yeah. That's all going on. Yeah.
I don't think it's so much a loophole as just literally complying. You make it childproof. Okay, we'll make it childproof now.
Or you have grub screws. You lock it down. That's how you effectively can't open it.
Safe.
Yeah.
Or what if someone made? What if someone made like a universal
a boot for your vape?
Yeah. Clamp.
Call it a boot, dude. Let's do it.
Yeah.
$1 million idea, dude. Legion boots.
Yeah.
I like it. A VOC. Yeah. Have you bought your VOC? Your vape lock?
New from Vape Geek or Gate. I can't never say it. Gape. Yeah. Whatever. I'm done. I'm sorry.
My point is that Canada is the only country right now. They're one part of the market that is insisting on this, and some companies are they're working with it. They're trying to provide alternatives. But if everyone said it had to be like that, then we would very, very quickly see some sort of innovation, some sort of move around it.
Yeah.
PSS says that's not true. The explanation CRC compliance eliminates the ability to create an RTA, RDA. As soon as you can access the deck, you can technically suck the liquid out. No way around that. So yeah, you definitely have to make like a cap system or something for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I'm not talking shit about it, but if we can make a fucking rope that holds your fucking 8-pound mod with your 4 batteries in it around your neck, we could figure this out.
The thing is, if you can access the deck, you can access a coil.
Yeah.
It's just got to be childproof and locked so that the child can't open it.
That should be the more dangerous part. Is they should be worried about the heating of a coil and the fucking. But anyway, I'm trying to make sense, and I don't know why.
I could tell you what, over the almost 4 years that I've been vaping, I've drunk a fair bit of liquid.
You know what? If you're actually right, if a kid picked this up, my immediate concern isn't, oh, you might get like 2 mils of e-liquid all over your lips and hands. It's that as you're fiddling with it, you might burn the fuck out of your face.
Burn your face, or you set it on a carpet, or you like touch it to a couch. You know what I mean? Like, I understand there are some safety issues that need to be addressed with stuff like this, but I mean,
Yeah.
like, you could go open up a bottle of vodka from the bottom shelf of your fridge a lot easier than you can mess with most devices. So.
Speaking of which, we went through the box in our bedroom. It's sitting there for ages. Everyone's got the box you keep sheets and shit in at the end of the bed, and we had some alky stuffed away, and it was old. It was nasty. So I kind of was looking in there, and I pulled it out, and there's a bottle of Malibu and a bottle of blue shit, and there was a bottle of port, and it's like 10, 12 years old. It's like, let's get rid of this. Pour it down the drain, recycle the bottle. I pulled the cap out, and it's a cork cap, a pull cork cap. So I pulled it out, half of it stayed in there, and then when I poured out the liquid, the bottom was full of like thick black sludge. It's like
Separated?
this had just deteriorated in the bottle. It was just horrible. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that's at the end of the bed. We're pretty safe. We don't have kids around. But how easy is it for a kid to get a handle on anything like that? That's not childproof.
A kid could walk down the street in the United States right now with how it's branded, drinking a mixed alcoholic, like 12% beverage that looks like a Red Bull.
Mm.
And they sell that at the end of the counter right next to fucking bubble gum.
I can't say that I ever inspected a bottle of alcohol when I was 14, drinking, underage, checking stuff out. There's a little bit of sediment in here. This is not to my palate at all. Yeah.
Yes, alcohol shouldn't be chewy.
But yes, I was waiting for you to say anyway after I drank it. Let's move on to a little bit of a motivational, because we're coming to the end of the show.
It's my favorite bit.
Yeah, you can even motivational blah blahs. I still haven't fixed that typo. Maybe I should just leave it. Maybe that's part of the show.
That's the beauty of it.
It's the beauty. Star dudes. Ashton Palmer in the house. Motivational blah blahs. Let's go. This one's a positive one, as opposed to us pointing the finger at you all the time. Don't stop because you're tired. Keep going because you're almost there. I think it's one of those things. I'm going to go off personal experience. There's been a lot of things I've been ticking away at, for the last let's call it the last couple of months. Ticking away, and feels like you're never getting there. And then there's a morning you wake up and you're like, you know what, I have achieved a lot. And there's those things that we're all experiencing a lot of. Hardship is a strong word, but depending on how you view that term, a small thing can be a hardship, a ginormous thing can be a hardship. But the reality is that the drive and desire to keep going is, by far the biggest motivational situation there. So it's okay to feel all of those things, but it's also important to keep going. So framing it that way.
Yeah.
Keep going because you're almost there.
It ties into what you said last week, because we were talking about one foot in front of the other, one rock at a time, just gradually taking care of small steps, and you get a big thing done. And the same thing goes. I mean, you do those small steps, and eventually you're tired, you're run down, and you look up, and you're kind of revigorated.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've come so far.
Yep.
Just by focusing on little tasks one at a time, you realize, I'm almost done. I do it every single day.
Yeah.
We do the dinner. We're horrible. I don't do dishes after dinner. Fuck it. Kitchen's a mess. It's just a pile of shit. It's just piles of everything. And I walk in there and I go, okay, dishes. I go, okay, I'm gonna load the sink, fill the sink, let that soak, put the dishes in the drainer away, the clean stuff. I do that, and I'm like, well, I'm fucking half done. And I'll just do the dishes in the sink. I'll load a second load. Oh. Well, if I just finish those, that's it. And then I finish them, and I go, well, I haven't done that. I may as well wipe down the counter and the sink.
Mm-hmm.
It's like step by step, just one thing at a time. And then I'm all done, and I feel good because the kitchen looks nice, and I can be proud. I've done the job. One more day.
Yep, indeed. Very similar mindset to that, or achieving a very, very important task that needs to be done. Yeah.
You have no idea how many times my reviews have worked the same way. Like I sit here at 9:30, and I'm like, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling. Look, I'll just film the 2 table sections. I got those 2 things to go. I'll just film those and color grade them, and then tomorrow I'll do the FaceTime section. And then while they're doing their color grading, I'm like, oh, I've got time. I'll do my face section. I'll do that, and then I'll assemble it tomorrow. And then while that's color grading, I'm like, yeah, may as well finish it all off, get it up, and get a video up tomorrow. Cool. I'll do that. I'll just do the one though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've done one already. I may as well finish it up. 2 videos ahead. And then there it is. It's like 4 o'clock, time for me to make dinner. I'm like, I've been working all day. How'd that happen? I was gonna like just sit here and slack. I was not feeling it, but I got shit done.
How did that happen? No good deed goes unpunished.
Accidentally working.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be cheesy, but to play into like what Adam said, because this is something we've all seen. We all play games on our phone, right? And you always get the ads where it's like the guy digging for gold or whatever, and then he stops and gives up, but he was this far away from getting to like the end of it. That's always around the corner when like you feel tired. It's because you've been busy. Feel good about being tired. You've taken initiative. You take an effort to do it. Don't drain yourself so much so that you want to go crazy, but keep working at whatever you're going to do, because you never know when that gold chunk's right around the corner and then the X pops up on the ad and you get to move on to your game.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, I will point out, I'm 52. I wake up tired.
Speaking of waking up tired, we had a lot of junk food yesterday for Albert's choice for his birthday dinner, and regrets, so many regrets, but happy face, with a child. So that was good
Was it
stuff.
pancakes, bacon, and maple syrup?
No, he chose pizza, fries, and chicken nuggets as the.
Oh, a man after my own heart.
Yep.
No beer?
Now I think I'm gonna order pizza and nuggets and some French fries for dinner.
Yeah, I'm thinking pizza with nuggets and French fries on the top.
I was gonna say, you live in Vegas. I'm sure you can get those all on one.
Yep.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It would be called the California Colonel.
It's a California burrito pizza, cholesterol, diabetes.
Yeah. that's
Drizzled
it.
in cheese and then deep fried.
Yeah. What pizza would you like tonight? I'm taking the California Colonel. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, it's not even a joke. Like, you can order from like the authentic Mexican restaurants here, and you can get French fries and like tacos put inside of your burrito, and then get your burrito rolled up, and then get it enchilada styled, and then get that put inside of a chimichanga.
Nice. I'll take 2.
I got the fuel right here. Like,
Yep. I'll take the pulled pork one and the beef one. Yep.
Yeah. Man, there's this cool thing though, since we're talking about it, I'm just going to throw it out there. I saw this place, it's a pop-up, and they call it like Mexican fusion, so it's white people gentrifying Hispanic food. But they make burritos out of pizzas, so like thin layered pizzas, and they roll it up like a burrito with whatever like authentic, like, Mexican meat that you want in it. So you can get a pepperoni and cheese pizza with like pulled pork inside of it. And I'm not going to lie, it looks delicious.
That sounds like a calzone. Yeah.
But we're going to call it
like
something
heart attack
else.
waiting to happen.
I'm so down for that. Can you order me one too from Uber Eats? That'd be great.
I'm going to get 2 of those, and I drink 3 Red Bulls a day. I'm on my way, man. I'm well on my way.
I'll see you there, buddy.
Man, I'm right here with you.
Well, we're at the end of the show. Leave you with that thought of hardening arteries. Sorry, Birdman. But absolutely, big love to you all. Legion and Chris, final thoughts for the end of the show.
Steve can go first.
Boop. That's it.
I'll be back on Friday with Anthony and Geekus and Snorkel for another amazing show of the Friday Fallout. It's basically just became a giant game about boat parts, but Anthony always comes with some great stuff, so make sure you check it out. This last week we gave away a wiener warmer. Oh no, that was the week before. This week we gave away a beer cap shooter from like that. It takes the bottle and shoots beer caps off of them or whatever. And then the week before that, Lissy T, she won the wiener warmer. So like we're doing some cool giveaways. Shout out to Anthony because he's been putting a lot of content together. So make sure you check that out. Otherwise, I may be going live this weekend for some gaming. I did invest in a new Xbox system, so it'll be a lot more fun. I got the Series S because the Series X is like $10,000 off a scalper, and I gotta tell you, if I'm gonna pay $10,000 for anything, it's not gonna be that. It's probably a kidney. But other than that, that's all I got.
Heart transplant.
Man,
Nice.
I'm ready. No.
Nice.
But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, you can catch Legion Vapes on 14 times going live this week. He hasn't done any reviews, but he will be going live for 14 times this week, and he's always active. Big love to you, Legion. Big love to you, Mr. Vandal. Big love to you at home on the YouTube in your face holes. We love you all, and I guess we'll see you next week. We will be here. That's a threat, by the way. We will be here next week. And say goodbye, fellas.
Bye, fellas.